All right, not Neil, sorry, Lance Armstrong has apparently admitted to using performance-enhancing drugs. That and gun control, the big stories of the week. The important thing to understand, in my opinion, is Lance Armstrong had testicular cancer, had one testicle removed, and probably had the other one irradiated as part of chemotherapy to where it almost doesn't exist. Then he managed to recover from that, a situation where a lot of people would have given up and died. He had the internal strength to enter and win the Tour de France 7 times, which is the equivalent of running a marathon 14 times over the course of about 16 days. Whatever he was taking, whether it was human growth hormones, which I think is a positive drug, it helps. It can really help older people, particularly as our society ages. Human growth hormones helps you recover and kind of get back your youth. It's almost a semi fountain of youth. And whatever other drugs he was on, I'm not mad at him for using. I just wish that we would get over this obsession, this hatred of drugs and performance enhancing drugs, and this herd mentality. These things could really help us. If you can come back, have one testicle removed, have the other one irradiated, and then enter an endurance race a few years later and become the very best, competing with people who are normal, who haven't had these types of amputations, and come back and be in that kind of physical shape, what could those chemicals, those drugs do for the average person, particularly older people? I have a relative who's in his 80s. He gets winded walking upstairs. Whatever Lance Armstrong was on, he could really use. There's a lot of older people who are on all kinds of medications that don't make them better. They just kind of keep them alive. If they were on human growth hormones or some type of steroids, it could really help improve their quality of life. In addition, a lot of the type of drugs that Armstrong was on back in the 90s and the early 2000s apparently are now legal. Low T is being advertised everywhere. So it went from horrible when he used it to try to race bikes up the Alps. But now, if you're over 40, it's perfectly legal and covered by your HMO. One is a horrible person, the other person is just over 40, and you can have low T and here's some testosterone. Part two, the system's set up to where he had to lie. Think about it real quick. If drug use was something that would prevent a musician from having their album come out, say if the Beatles admitted to using marijuana, Sgt. Pepper could not legally be sold in the United States, or if Pink Floyd admitted to using marijuana, Dark Side of the Moon could not legally be sold in America or Europe. Well, they would still be doing the drugs. They would just be lying to you about it. I don't blame Lance Armstrong for lying. He had to do what he did. It it's a problem with the regulators and this insane don't use drugs. You have to just only water. It's insane. We have a society. We have these drugs that can improve our lives, and instead of using them, being honest about it, and improving everybody's quality of life, and knowing honestly what the positive and what the negative effects are, we just, oh, you can't use any of them, and it creates this inherent dishonest society. I'd rather be told the truth and make my own decisions than force people to lie to me. And that's my opinion on it. Performance enhancing drugs should be legal, and the positive and negative side effects should be fully disclosed, studied, and each individual over the age of 18 should be able to make their own decisions. And I highly encourage their use for older people because I think it can really help offset the disease we all have, which is called aging. And you're watching Tim's TV. Thank you.